Hello, let me welcome you to the Stress Hacker channel, where I'm just about to introduce myself. My name is Susan Smith. I've worked as a psychotherapist since 1991, and I've worked as a yoga teacher since 1994, and more recently trained in Qigong in the Chi method. So this is a mixture of everything that I've learned from Vincent Wang, who has his own production company as a stuntman, and also from Marissa at Chi. So enjoy your research there in those areas. We are going to do a practice that's really nice for the winter time, and it focuses on the kidneys. So the first thing we're doing is we're standing in Wuji pose. This is suitable for beginners. Just keep watching and you'll pick things up. So the feet are shoulder width apart. We want the outside edges of the feet straight, space underneath the armpits, and then we begin to sink down. As we sink down, we're thinking about relaxing the feet. Even thought is energy and intention is everything. So we're going to have the intention to relax in this pose here, known as Wuji pose. Relax the bones in the feet, soften the knees. If you look from the side, if I move to the side, almost as if I'm about to sit in a chair so that we can open this area here, known as the qua, which becomes very tight because we sort of sit down and crease it up too much of the time, most of us. And then we begin to sink the weight into the feet. So we're lifting the pubis slightly, chin dipping in so that we have a nice straight spine so that energy can flow up from the earth, down from the heavens, and we're being held up by heaven and earth, mother and father, if you like, and we are a conduit between heaven and earth. So think of that energy flowing up and down your spine. And as you relax here, allow the breath now to drop from your chest into your belly. So just having the thought, I'm relaxing the breath into my belly, is a really good move. Bring the tongue up behind your top teeth. This completes a small current or circuit for energy to flow up the front of your, up the back of your spine and down the front. So a kind of nice circuit. Imagine the crown of the head lifting up to the heavens. Feel the soles of the feet sinking into the earth, the roots of the feet reaching down, connecting with Mother Earth. Just have a little scan through your body. Your eyes are open. You can soften your gaze. And notice anywhere that you might have any aches and pains, any blockages. You know, you might be going, oh, get on with it at this point. But, you know, being still is a good thing. Be still. Get out of your head, get into your body, become more embodied, and notice where you have energy blocks. Notice where there are feelings of numbness or disconnection with the earth, areas where you feel pain or discomfort. Think about thoughts that are less than helpful to you, a negative loop of thinking, and feelings that you don't want, habits and behaviors. Because what we're going to do is we're going to imagine now as we activate the Taji pole, and this is this channel that runs between heaven and earth. Think of it as a funnel coming out of the crown of the head, funnel coming out of the perineum, down the legs and into the earth. Wherever you feel these blocks of energy, whether it's thought, feelings, or actual physiological pain and discomfort, begin to imagine that it's melting like an ice cream melting off of a cone, melting into the middle of this tube and just dissolving down into the earth. This is a Yochi purging exercise known as scanning and melting. So we're melting what we don't want. We're setting the intention to get rid of everything that we don't want. Wonderful thing about your unconscious mind is that once it goes off on a train of thought, that can continue. So even though we're about to move now, that melting is still continuing. Just know that. Melting the bad habits, melting the negative thoughts, the poor emotions, just melting them all into this Taji pole so that we can start with a clean slate today or from this practice. And we are now going to just begin to get rid of the things that we don't want, because we never put clean water into a dirty glass, and our body is the dirty glass, if you like. We're carrying over toxic emotions from last night, yesterday, earlier today, And we're going to get rid of that. So just going to begin to allow the knees to bend and shrug the shoulders. So you don't even have to do anything with your arms or your hands. They're just coming along for the ride. So shrugging the shoulders starts to move the lymph fluid, and bending the knees in this way also moves the lymph fluid, and the fluids in the body carry the chi. So we're moving the lymph fluid. I always like to think of the lymph fluid as the dustman. It's clearing out the rubbish. So just allowing the shoulders to shrug, and just thinking of a tree in wintertime, letting go of its leaves. We can let go of what we don't want. Think of it all just falling to the earth, being dissolved, mulched up, reconstituted for a time of new growth. Okay, I forgot one thing. As your tongue comes up behind the top teeth, you also smile. When we smile, we give the body a message that everything is okay, and the body is always listening. Shaking the tree. You can do this up to 20 minutes. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose, just thinking about letting go. Excellent. And we'll leave that there for now. A couple of purging exercises, and just stop. Be completely still. So in this yin state of stillness, we can feel all this yang energy within us. Can you feel any tingling in your fingers, your arms, anywhere else in your body? Slightly lifting the pubis, as if you're about to sit on a chair. The chin is dipped down, smiling. Just enjoy that rebound sensation. And one of the lovely things, we're just going to begin to move our weight from the right foot to the left, from the left foot to the right, from the left to the right. I shall aim to teach a mirror image throughout the class, and I'll tell you when I'm not. As we transfer weight onto this right leg, we can feel that the left leg is empty. And then we transfer the weight onto this left leg. We could lift up the right foot because the right leg is empty. So we're just transferring our weight, just having a nice sense of getting grounded in the feet. So I was about to say, one of the lovely things that I love about Chinese medicine, Qigong, is that the perception is that we're not ill. We haven't got anything wrong with us, but we're out of balance. And everything that we're doing is to create balance between the outside and the inside. Begin to turn now around this taji pole, this tube that runs throughout the body. If you're a yogi, you'll know that we call that Sushumna, that main super motorway through the body, the main channel of energy. So we're balancing up and down, the front and the back, the left side and the right side. Take your gaze to follow the hands as you transfer your weight. Breathing in through the nose, you can breathe out through the mouth if you need to do a little bit of letting go. And we can begin to knock on the door of life, allowing the hands to tap across the abdomen and the lower back. Need to let go a little bit, you can breathe out through the mouth. So as we're tapping the lower back, there's something known as Jing, which is our energy and life force, and it's in the kidneys, and we want to move it into the Mingmen, which is the central point in your lower back, in line with your belly button, your navel. So we're bending the knees. The knees are a hinge joint. They need to bend because otherwise we'll injure them. So let's keep bending. And this bending is so good for strengthening the legs, the leg muscles that supports the kidneys. So as we tap across the lower back, I'll just show you from behind, you can see that we're just tapping on the kidneys as if we're giving them a bit of a jump start. And as we're giving the kidneys a jump start, that's encouraging that Jing energy to move into the Mingmen. So nice to just wake up the second chakra, Svatisthana, or the lower Dantian, as it's known in Qigong, so that we can bring energies, this really important area here between the hips, between the pubis and the navel, and our place of personal power. We can begin to slow down. And you can do that quite quickly, or you can do it very, very slowly, knocking on the door of life. But it's a really nice practice to do. Come to Ouija pose stillness. Just check that the outside edges of your feet are still straight. Are the knees bent? Are you about to sit on that chair, opening the qua, K-U-A, that area here where the groins, where we have the inguinal ligaments? And relax. So we take time. The transitional pose is Ouija, where we just come back to the standing position to integrate what we've just been practicing. Okay, what are we doing next? Oh, yeah, this is one of my favorites. It's a really nice way of stretching all of the major organs in the body. So we're going to gently bring the fingertips together, encouraging this earth chi up the central column. Rotate those palms upwards and just stretch up. So you can allow your toes to connect, if you feel a bit out of balance, and then float the hands down. You can see I'm wearing my haramaki to keep my kidneys warm. It's a piece of material that you wear around the waist in wintertime to keep the kidneys and the lower back warm. So you can grip the earth with your toes if you're feeling a bit out of balance, if you're not very grounded, if you've had a stressful time of it. And again, interlink the fingers. We can bend the knees. We're encouraging this yin energy up the legs, up through the spinal column, rotating the palms upwards. And this time, as we look up, just going to come up onto tiptoes. And then we can allow the heels to drop quite heavily down, giving the bones a bit of a shake. Interlinking the fingers, drawing that chi up, just pressing the energy up to the heavens. We can look forward, relax the shoulders. Remember, we do a 70% effort in Qigong, and allow those heels to drop down. Okay, and as we interlink the fingers this time, continuing to draw the chi up through the Taji pole, rotating, pushing upwards. Again, remember your 70% effort, knees are bent. As we reach up with the hands, inhale, and as we exhale, turn to look over your right shoulder. So we turn with the arms, the hands, with the arms and the hands, and the head follows. Inhale as you come back to the center. Reach up a little. Exhale over to look over your left shoulder. I'm teaching a mirror image. Inhale back to the center. Really gently separate the hands, floating the hands down. Interlink the fingers, gathering the chi, drawing it up through the Taji pole. Rotating the hands up. Inhale, bending the knees as you turn from the waist to look over the right shoulder. Inhale back to the center and turning to look over the left shoulder. Back to the center and float the hands down. So we tend to move in Qigong flows in sequences of 3. So 3, 6, 9. Inhale, turning to the right. Nice little twist. This balances the chakras on the body. Inhale, exhale as you turn to look over that left shoulder. And of course, it stretches up through the trunk, so it stretches that liver that sits under the right side of your rib cage, the spleen and pancreas on the left side, and it stretches up the heart and lungs. Of course, anytime we take the heart and lungs up, which we're going to now, floating the hands up, turn the palms to the ceiling. Anytime we reach the hands up over the head, float the hands down. We're activating the cardiovascular and respiratory system. Floating the arms up, the heart and lungs are separate organs, but they're interrelated systems. And bring it down. We're just going to make some healing sounds now. So as we float the arms up, we're breathing in. As we breathe out, we're going to say S's that come from the sound of the lungs. Like a kettle boiling. Inhale. This time the sound is chew, C-H-O-O-O-O-O. Inhale. Chew. Floating the arms out. This time the sound is SH's, sound from the liver. Shh. and back to Uji pose. You can always email me for the sounds, the healing sounds. So let's step the feet in a little. So the feet are hip width apart. We're going to bring the hands onto the hips. In fact, just rub the hands together. We have mini chakras in the hands, and in Qigong they're known as the Lao Gong points. So if you bring your middle finger to rest on the palm, that's your Lao Gong point. So bringing those warmed hands onto your kidneys, you just rub the kidneys a little bit, saying good morning to them. My teacher Marissa always encourages us to talk to the organs. Okay, so we're just going to transfer the weight again from one foot to the other. And then we're just going to move in a figure of 8. Go in whatever position is comfortable for you. Moving in a figure of 8. Hands connecting with the kidneys. So in the winter time, the kidneys relate to the element of winter, to the time of winter, but also to the element of water. And we want to keep the water warm. We're going to go back in the opposite direction now, so make sure you're bending your knees. You might get some cracking as you go in the opposite direction. And that's vata, wind escaping from the joints. These are anti-rheumatic warm-ups, really. They help to dispel gases from the joints. So we want to keep the kidney chi warm, the kidneys warm in the winter time. And a notion that you're perhaps not keeping your kidneys warm would be if you start to notice that you're starting to fret a little bit more, if you're worried, if you start to feel a bit frightened, nervous, anxious, it may be a call to your kidney chi. Let's rest in the center now. And now we're going to step the feet together. And again, rubbing the hands together. Let's place those hands as we bend over slightly, just rubbing the kidneys. Okay, with the feet together, so this is a balance. So you might not even want to watch me once we've established this. We're just doing very small hip circles. And you can, as I say, grip the floor with your toes if need be. That's a new instruction for me because in yoga we're always saying relax the toes, spread the toes. But we might want to grasp the chi from the earth, especially at this time of year. So we're circling around with the hips. And then because we're creating balance, we're going to go back in the opposite direction, which can feel a little weird. So we want to keep those big toes grounded, connected to the earth, bringing that chi, that Mother Earth powerful chi up through the nerves of the feet. So we've got this super highway, this main motorway through the center of our body. And in yoga, we're told that we have 72,000 nadis, nerve channels, that we want this prana, this ki, this chi to flow through. Let's stop and rest here a moment. Bring the hands down and then step your feet shoulder width apart. This time we can bring the hands onto the hips. As we bring the hands onto the hips, we can just take the thumbs around to the back muscles. And as we're doing these hip circles, you can move the thumbs at different points around this lower back, a little bit of acupressure, but also just feeling those muscles there. So feet shoulder width apart, check that the outside edges are straight, do this nice and slowly. And you can bend the knees if you need to. So those of you that may be kind of, in Ayurvedic speak, more pitta vata, and you want to get on with things quickly, you may find some of these movements a little slow and frustrating, but maybe it's what you need to slow down a little, get embodied, really feel your body, listen to its wisdom, moving those thumbs up. And what's wrong with slowing down and taking your time, mirroring nature at this time of year, the winter time? We're going back in the opposite direction now. Big wide hip circles. So these are hip circles all this work in the lower sort of chakras from the waist downwards, engaging with the earth, all very good for the kidneys, the adrenal glands. They sit above the waist. And then we'll just rest again in Wuji pose. Notice how you feel. Have some of your awareness inside your body and some of the awareness outside. Okay, so we are going to just rub the kidneys. So you might want to just bend over a little bit as you rub the kidneys up and down, and then inhale and stand up. So the kidneys are yin organs, but there is a yin and yang kidney. And then again, just bend forward a little bit, making okay signs with your fingers and thumbs, and gently just tapping up and down the kidneys. Morning, waking them up. And even up to the adrenals and down to the sacrum. The idea is that we're moving stagnant qi. And qi hides in corners. You know, if you don't dust the corners of your house, the dust builds up very quickly. Stand up, breathe in. Slight bend over as you hold the kidneys again and breathe into them. And the joints of the hands, the arms, the knee, the whole joints in the body can hide qi like the corners in your house. So we need to keep everything mobile and moving. And then finally, circulating the energy inwards, rubbing inwards with your hands, really warming up the sacrum, keeping that energy in. Excellent. Okay, let's bring the hands into the prayer position. So I'd like you to imagine you have 3 figures of 8 and they're on their sides. So we've got one figure of 8 in front of the face. And then we've got the heart chakra and Manipura here, these 2 chakras. Another figure of 8 here in front of your heart. And then just at the lower dantian, below the navel, you have another figure of 8. Now your feet are shoulder width apart, we're back into our Wuji pose. Bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra, the prayer position. And starting in front of the face, you can just take the hands just out a little bit in front of your face, just making this figure of 8. So keep being prepared to bend your knees every now and then. Move your hips from side to side. You can stand still in one place, but it's much nicer to feel the stretch in the sides of the trunk between the intercostal muscles as you're awakening your dragon. And now we'll take this figure of 8 down from the upper dantian down to the middle dantian in front of the heart. And feel how great this is for your elbows, for your shoulders, for the shoulder blades, the back muscles, the hips. We're just transferring weight from side to side, creating this balance. It's such a wonderful feeling of freedom in the body, and we don't have to do it quickly. We can really slow it down. A slow figure of 8, mirroring the slowness of wintertime. We're going to dive our dragon down to the lower dantian now and move our dragon in a figure of 8 in front of the lower dantian, these lower chakras. There. And let's maybe bend down a little bit and dive all the way down into the sea. This time we'll just swim the dragon all the way up to the heavens and then back down again, encouraging this flow of qi. These figure of 8s might get a bit muddled. Mine just has. Don't let that worry you. Figure of 8 all the way back up. So we are taking a smaller figure of 8 all the way down in front of our Taji pole, in front of Sushumna, diving all the way down. So this is really a lovely way of circulating energy. And float your arms down beside you and just rest here. Excellent. So let's take the feet. Well, no, let's have a moment in Wuji. Let's not rush. Just be still. If you're interested in any of my blogs about mind body health, you'll find them at thestresshacker.com under blogs. It's good to know about the mind body connection. We're going to step the feet about 3 feet apart. Bringing the hands onto the hips to begin with, we're going to turn the right foot out, left foot in slightly, and we're going to have a lunge. So we don't have to sink into a very deep lunge, especially if we're just doing this in the morning. So just nice lunge, and then come back up. Turn those toes of that right foot to the corner of your mat. Now you're going to bend your left knee slightly and extend your right arm down toward your right toes. Don't have to go down too far, and 70% effort is fine. Bring the hand back to the waist, turning back to the same side for a lunge. This is energizing the yin channels in the inside seams of the legs. Back to the center, turning the left foot out, a lunge. It's also very good for the liver. Turn the toes to the corner of the mat. This time we bend the right leg. So it's the opposite leg that you think you're going to bend, and we extend this left leg, left arm down. Nice straight left leg, straight arm. Come up and lunge again. And back to the center. One more time, turning the right foot out into a lunge. You might want to go a little further this time. Bring weight onto the back foot as well. Come up, turn the toes to the corner of the mat, bending this left leg. Bend the left leg, extend the right arm, as if you could touch the toes one day with your fingertips. Coming up and back to a lunge on the same side. Turn back to the center. Over to the other side, lunging into this left side. And as you lunge down, just straighten this back leg and come up and turn the toes to the corner of the mat as you bend the knee on this right leg. Extend the left arm down. Maybe you can even reach down toward the big toe, sitting down into the hips. Come up and into a lunge. Those of you who are yogis and who are used to doing lunges and warrior poses, you might want to go to another stage, taking the arms out to the sides, lunging, looking along the middle finger of the right hand. Coming up and keeping this right leg straight as you bend the left knee, reaching down, aeroplane arms, and reaching down, sitting into the hips. Coming up, lunge. Turn back to the center and turning the left foot out. Nice lunge, look along the middle finger of the left hand. I'm teaching a mirror image. So the trunk stays central. We have an arm in the future, an arm in the past, but we're present here in the moment. Turn the toes to the corner of the mat, bending this right leg. Aeroplane arms as we extend the left arm down to touch the toes, enjoying that lovely stretch right up into the groins of that straightened leg. Coming up and lunge and back to the center. Bringing the arms down, step the feet back to Wuji pose and rest in Wuji. Check your structure. Outside edges of the feet are straight as if you're about to sit on a chair. Soften and relax. Lift the pubis, chin down. Tongue behind the top teeth. Smiling. So a little bit of leg work, a little bit of lower body balance. And now we're going to do a little bit of upper body balance. So we're going to take the hands out beside us, elbows bent. Remember, it's only 70% effort. We have a cup of tea in each hand. So we're going to offer this tea to everybody out there in nature all around. So we're going to start with this left arm. In fact, let's start with the right arm. I'm teaching a mirror image, and we can bring the left hand onto the waist. So I have a cup of tea. We're aiming not to spill that cup of tea. Soften the knees, relax. Qigong should be done in a relaxed way. We're learning to move with a relaxed, slow breathing. And in this, if you want to just watch as I start, you know that we're bending forwards, backwards, side to side. There's circulating and twisting and turning. It's such a good move for us. So offering that tea out. So I'm bending forward now, I'm bending back. So good for the spine. Try not to spill that tea as it comes over my head. And again, bending all the way down, I'm circling that hand back in and back to its start position. Join me in offering tea to everybody in nature all around. Gentle back bend as we aim to take that flat palm over the head, just a general aim, don't have to do it. We're trying not to spill the tea, doesn't matter if we do. And one more time. So we want to do 3 of these. Be prepared to move your body, bend your knees. Don't be too stationary in this. Play with it. It's just a bit of fun. Okay, and now we'll do the other side. In fact, I'll just give you a moment so that you've done 3 on that side, and extending the left hand, a nice cup of tea on it. Would you like some tea? Look, already bending one knee, the other is straight. Would you like some tea? Would you like some tea? Maybe you'd like some tea. I'm looking behind me, but I'm doing a little back bend. I'm taking the arm up. It's so good for the shoulders. However, if you've got a frozen shoulder, you may be restricted in what you can do. So don't work through pain, but do work through discomfort. And of course, don't hold your breath. Keep the breath flowing. Keep your breath flowing all the time. When you hold your breath, everything freezes. So keep flowing that teacup around. I think that's 3 on that side. You can do more. You can always stop the recording and practice more. And now we'll do both. Cups of tea in both hands. So a bit of a forward bend as we offer tea. Would you like tea? Would you like tea? Starting to go into a back bend. And we don't have to go too far, remember. 70% effort. Tea's all over me at this point. And circulating round. And back. Circulating round. So it's more like a swimming movement. I haven't managed to perfect this without throwing tea all over me. And not sure that I ever will. Just enjoy playing with these movements. So good for keeping mobility of the shoulders and the arms, the elbows, and make that your last move. And come back to Wuji. Bring the tongue up behind the top teeth. You're sitting on your chair, your outside edges of your feet nice and relaxed, lifting the pubes, chin down, bit of space under the armpits while I check what we're doing next. And yeah, why not throw this in now? A little purging exercise. Should have done this before, in an ideal world, before the teacups. Might have been helpful. Still learning to my lesson planning in Qigong. So we bend forward in spinal cord breathing. We bring the elbows to the sides of the body. Gentle back bend, gentle forward bend. You can see why this might have been nicer to do before, which I did have it written down, but just didn't look at it. Okay, again, your feet can really anchor and grip the floor so that we feel earthed and connected as we bring some much wanted flexibility and energy to the spine. And the knees still bend and straighten as we come into a forward bend. This is a bit like cat stretching in yoga, but a little better in a way because it's really pumping the energy up through the feet and the legs and up through the sacrum, pumping this chi up through the cerebrospinal fluid, moving that chi around everywhere. And this is a purging move, hoping to get rid of stagnant chi. So, floating the arms down. So maybe next time you do this video, you could do that bit before the teacups and back to Wuji. Notice how you feel. And again, we could just have a shake of the tree if we felt like it, if those teacups have caused any awareness in a shoulder or an elbow. Just shaking the tree, letting go of anything that we don't want. Always a nice little purging thing to do along the way. Keep going. And then we're going to rest in Wuji. And we're just going to hug. It's called the kidney hug in the Yochi method, where as if we're hugging a tree and then standing up, bringing the arms down, bend the knees to hug the tree. Inhale as we stand up. And bending the knees. Inhale. Or should I say exhale? Inhale here, bending the knees. Exhale as we float the hands down, gathering chi, holding the tree. And it's just nice, slow, relaxing movements. Strengthening our kidney chi so that we'll be all ready for action in the spring. And rest. Resting in Wuji. So we're just going to do a little bit of the fountain, which is a nice circulating pose. Back of the hands together, drawing that cooling water from Mother Earth. Think of the seas and the lakes on Mother Earth coming up to just cool the heart fire and creating balance between fire and water, yin and yang. Nice way to soothe the heart. The heart is known as the emperor of the emotions, although other organs feel emotions and more specific emotions. For example, the liver deals with frustration, irritation, anger. But the heart feels everything first. So the heart feels all the grief, the loss, the sadness. So cooling it is a nice way of balancing it, soothing the heart. Nice one to do before bed as well. Backs of the hands together, emulating a fountain, gathering chi from the earth, bringing it up the bladder channels to the heart. You know, if it's too much for you at any time, just stop in Wuji pose or even sit down and continue everything else on the chair. And just do two more. And bring the hands back to Bao Chi, holding this ball of Chi. I'm teaching mirror image. Bring the left hand above the right hand. Imagine that you're holding a ball of Chi. And then turn to the other side. And slowly opposite hand, back to the first side. And now with the left hand over the right. Inhale. Hold the breath. Pulse the ball 3 times. Really feel, breathe out as you change with the right hand above the left. Really feel this ball of chi. Feel the edges of this ball of chi. Inhale. Hold the breath. Pack the ball with chi, pulsing it 3 times. And then as you exhale, you can roll your hands around the edge of this ball. Imagine a big beach ball, but maybe made out of the same material as a balloon. So it's really thin. And after a while, that sort of fabric of the balloon disappears and you're just left with the sense of the outside edges of your chi ball. We can play with the chi. This chi is your life force and energy. Let the elbows and the wrists do the work. The hands and the fingers just sensing, feeling the chi. Wonderful. And then bringing that chi ball towards your lower dantian and just rolling one hand above the other, these little chakras. And imagine that you've condensed this chi ball right down into a tiny pearl, representative of your life force and energy. Bringing the left hand onto your lower dantian, right hand on top. We're going to balance our yin and yang. So hands inbound chi, just allowing this left hand to float up, gathering some heavenly chi and pressing it all the way down to the lower dantian as we gather chi in the right hand, floating it up the taji pole, gathering heavenly energy, this yang electric energy, bringing it all the way down, washing down through the front of the body, the middle, the back. And one hand faces the earth as the other faces heaven, and we're gathering this chi, strengthening our taji pole, strengthening our connection to heaven and earth, washing this chi down through the body. So the yang energy that we gather from the heavens is electric. Think of it, fire, electricity, fire and heat. And we bring that all the way down into the lower dantian, and then we gather this earth energy, which is magnetic, the magnetic force, your ability to manifest and magnetize things towards you, coming there from the yin earth energy. Excellent. And then we're going to continue to take this right hand up, pressing yin and yang. So press this right palm up to the heavens as the left palm reaches the floor. Remember 70% effort, so I am reaching up quite high. I'm choosing to stretch the tendons, but you could just kind of relax everything. Looking up. You could stretch the fingers, so it can be quite a yang practice. And then bend the knees as you bring that hand back down and take the opposite hand up. So now your right hand is pressing down, left hand pressing up, separating heaven and earth, which in its own way balances yin and yang. Back to the first side. You're breathing. And you can grip the floor if you feel that you're losing balance at all. Making this the last one. That's a nice way of integrating our energy. And back into Wuji pose. Notice how you feel. You just sort of bend the knees, stepping the left foot to join the right. So the ankles are touching, the big toes are touching. As we bring the hands into Anjali Mudra, thumbs resting on the heart center, reminding us of our inner guru, our inner teacher. Listening to the wisdom of the heart sometimes. The head can be a bundling of programming. Tuning in to listen to your heart's wisdom. So as you stay here in this swaying palm or swaying tree, I always say that the body has about 9 systems. Each one has their own thermostat. Thermostat working to create equilibrium, homeostasis, this balance within the body. And that's including the mind. For example, guilt seeks punishment. So we need to shed guilt. So what you'll notice is that the body might sway as the chi starts to move around, deciding where it's going to settle, where it's most needed. So you can stay in this position for a few moments. Straightening the legs. And then bringing the thumbs to the third eye. Right thoughts to the mouth, right words to the heart, right deeds and actions. And I finish with the greeting Om Shanti, which I learned from the wonderful organization, the Brahma Kumaris, Raja Yoga, Yoga of the Mind. And Om Shanti is Peace be with you. Have a lovely day. Thank you for joining me in this class, and tell your friends to do the class, and please put any comments in the box below. Thank you.